camera 1 is going to be your mobile cam. Oh no, camera 1 is this right here.
Camera 2 can be
Camera 2 will be the mobile cam. Camera 3 is this. So let's go to 1 and camera 3. You'll probably do a close up of the brother Curtis when he comes in. Everybody that's at the podium, you're gonna do a close. You gonna do the close.
I'm gonna have to then move. You know what I'm saying? Because that way we have to move over. So I'm be over there. All right, we can touch my now. All right, so I guess I don't know if you want to go shoot the her shoot sometime. I'm not sure.
Who's that? She on live?
Yeah. She on the stream. I don't know. He must do that.
Huh?
He must talk to her and do that.
Okay. Ask him when he comes down. Yeah, put that up. I mean, where can we put it at? Can we put it in a camera like full?
I think so. I don't want to do it now. That's all he has. Because he had to invite her on there for her to be there.
Oh, so let's try this. Let it plug though.
I'm gonna change the line into all that stuff. Audio.
Yeah, when you put that, whatever one is one.
Had some dudes in control.
It's online, right?
Oh, shoot, let's make sure. This is off. All that on. Maybe turn down. Maybe. Let me try to turn down. So look, when I turn this down, let's go down. I'm looking at that.
Oh, is it on
Line?
go to line and make sure
I did that. Yeah, I just did that. I'll do it again. Double check. So there's right there.
So it's online.
Put both of them on there.
Get it upstairs.
I hate it. It's coming through this mixer now.
No, it's the same thing. I done plugged it in. It's brand new cord, so it's got to. I'm trying to figure out what it is. What's feeding back?
Make sure it's not the sub. It's not the sub. This is the sub.
No, it's not the sub. It's whatever. See, no matter what I plug in.
Pablo! Look at this, man. My hand's cold so hard. I'm trying to think. Hold on, let me see something too. Hold up. Let me see something. Let me go to audio on here and change it. Hold on. Maybe that was good. If it don't work, just go. If it don't work, can you just go through the cameras? Audio. It just. I think we got to figure that out on another time. Oh, what is that?
Yeah, so let's not.
That's not through. That's coming through something else. What is it coming through now?
That's coming from the camera.
Must be. Let's check and see if it's coming through the camera now.
Are you on live right now?
Oh, that's fine.
But you can hear the buzz in the background. Yeah, because I unplugged it. But when you first, yeah. See, when I did it.
That's right there. It's like only a few seconds. I think it's going through the camera. It's coming through the camera. As long as it's coming through the camera, it's fine.
See, I just plugged in. feed.
Well, that's when you plug it in, though.
Yeah, that's what I said. No, I just.
sound loud.
Yeah, we just had to not do that until we figure it out. We know it's not the cord. We know it's not the cord.
I got another cord though too.
But it's the same thing. It's the same kind of cord.
So I wonder if the camera audio speakers look like that. Yeah, because you see mouse with that. But I wonder which one it is.
The only reason why I wanted to come out of the mixer because everything is compressed into the mixer.
Also, I got a mic I put into that camera too.
Check, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2. Check.
I think it's that though.
Check 1, 2. 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2.
Yeah, it's loud. Look, we're gonna try this though.
Check 1, 2. 1, 2, 2, 2. Check. 1, 2. 1, 2. Check 1, 2, 2, 2. Check 1, 2. Check. 1, 2, 2, 2. Good morning and welcome to another.
I think it's good. I think it's coming from here.
Okay.
Hey, this one? Why don't you check it out right here? Please check. Microphone check. Yeah, that's what these points. It's completely better. It might be better. Yeah. Check. The cameras are nice, everything nice, man. The DJ.
Cameras okay? Cameras okay? Where they are?
Right out your ear.
gonna start up here reading what I don't know. Oh, okay.
I gotta stay up. Touch that mic right there. Let's see.
Mic test, mic test. Mic test, mic test.
I just can't control it. Not going to turn it on. That's why I said I was like, but it's and then I can.
Yeah, you control it. Who's on that?
That don't be fun. You know why? I'm gonna find that place.
What you got good for us today? I think you got something defensive, exactly. So,
Say less. Yes. Huh? Not. I don't know where I got this bag. Yeah, somewhere. Thank you. She has a sick ass skirt like too, but hers is more than me. But I need a white piece. That's African right there. That's well sound. Is that what? Well sound. Oh, the lady there? No, I was going to ask, I guess. I think so. There's a brother that yeah. It's hard. Well, they come out there. Yeah. But the last few times I've gone to the they dress up this warehouse. White, I mean, if it's just like no joy. But that's true too. We kind of have the subject of I think this one keeps you're talking about the sugar store. Yeah. They do. I should have my glasses.
Yeah. Come on. Peace and power, family. We are here again for another Sunday in Gia Fellowship at the Temple of New African Thought. I want to greet you with peace and power. Now, I know you're thinking I could be anywhere, and I know some of you guys are getting ready for the football game because it's basically football game all day today. But I'm happy that you paused to come and be with us. Brother Montu, let's get a drum call. Let's wake up our ancestors. We know they ain't sleep, but let's just welcome them into this room. Give me a beat, my brother. Brother Vashi, I think the ancestors have come. And we're we're going to bring you up very shortly to give a libation, to open up the way. I just want to reach out to you because you told me last week that you was the oldest one in the room.
That's right, 97.
97 again.
You said 97? Like 97?
I just want to thank you. I just want to ask you, as an elder and one of the elders of this community, dear brothers, we have permission to start.
You have
I have permission to speak.
You have permission, bro.
With that said, we're going to go on with our program. Yesterday, the minister knows that if you have me out 2 days in a row, I'm probably beat by Sunday, right? Anybody just really introverted that when they're with people, it just drains them sometimes?
Of course, you collected it.
Yeah. And I was just sitting there like, when we when we talk about faith, and when we think about our ancestors, anybody had a praying auntie or a praying grandmother, somebody that would just sit and just hum, and just the way she would move and rock. And every once in a while, she would break out in the gospel song, sitting there and be like, at the cross, where I first saw the light. Y'all remember that? And that was her way of soothing her body. So no matter what was going on, she would just break out in song, and that was her way of quickening her spirit and allow her to be present. And then we would come and join in. Sister, can you come and join in? And it's so settling when, because I grew up in Islam, we didn't do no singing, so I was like, oh man, we gotta sing. But I realized when we talk about the faith in the day of Trump, sometimes we need to be on one accord, and sometimes that spirit of just song would help us get there. Is that right? Now I can't sing, so I'm gonna pass it to her. We're gonna try to sing together, right? Give me a mic.
We're just singing the chorus part.
Okay. How many people know this song, right? Oh, y'all always been conscious. Y'all ain't never been to church, is that right? Hold on, we on?
I've been to
Mic check. You ain't never been to church. You would know this song, but we gonna break it down.
So the first line is at the cross, where I first saw the light, and the burden of my heart rolled away.
Right. So
It
we're
was-
auntie.
Oh, but you know what?
We're just gonna sing it. We don't have to. They just gonna catch in, right? Y'all can catch on. Y'all black, right? It's an old collar response. This is African. We're dealing with cultural retention. When one person say, then the other person just join. Y'all ready?
I have a whole.
At the cross, where I first saw the light, and the burden of my heart rolled away.
It was there by faith.
Come on.
I received my sight, and now I am happy all the day.
Let's go. Keep going. So when we deal with the African retention, come on, let me get the beat.
I
Let's
got
go.
another one. Oh, freedom.
Come on. So when our ancestors said at the cross, we thought they were just talking about the cross of Jesus. But when you begin to study traditional African culture and civilization, we understood that many of our ancestors would hide their traditions in the song. Is that right? So when I went and started studying, I realized that the cross didn't represent the cross of Jesus. That it was really the crossroads of the labor. So when people was in distress in African cultures, they would call on Papa Labor at the crossroads to open up the way. So when we talk about Trump, we understand that this too shall pass. Is that right? So nothing shall prosper. Is that right? So our grandmothers and our praying aunties knew something that we didn't know. So we're going to tap back into the ancestral spirit, and we're going to ask Papa Legba to open up the way. Is that right? So when you pour libation or what people call tambico, it is the opening of the way. It is the quickening of our spirit. It is the song that allows us to be on one accord. So no matter what you done went through all week long, that praying auntie was able to allow you to come and settle your body. Well, the Temple of New African Thought is no different. This is the repository and the place where settled bodies come. Huh? And when those praying aunties, they would sing something like bye bye. You remember bye bye? But we gonna try to remember the day, right? Because I want y'all to remember the songs that they used to sing, because it wasn't just good for that day, it's good for us too. That's that cultural retention that says there's something in the soil that's there for us that's going to embody a new thing. Like when you see this sprouting out, I know K Love. Something about they tried to bury me, but they didn't know I was a seed, right? Huh? It's something planted in the soil that can germinate. Huh? There's no dark days. The dark days is only when the seed is in the soil, but they know that their light is going to come. Huh?
Yeah.
And our ancestral retention, those cultural retentions of something like pouring libation, is so we will never forget the traditions and the circles will be unbroken. Give me another song, let's go.
This little light of mine,
Light of mine, come on.
I'm gonna let it shine.
You got it?
This little light of mine,
Come on.
I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine.
One, two.
Let it shine.
Can I get that mic?
Shine.
Everywhere I go.
Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Yes.
Faith in us. We always are told to look for something outside of ourselves. And when you study traditional culture, you understand the Ori, the God consciousness, is not something external. Is that right? It's something internal. It is the into the spirit or energy of our ancestors and our spirituality that rests in our third eye. Anybody seen the Indian women that wear the little dot? The Bindis, they wear the little dot, the Hindus, right? It symbolizes that third eye. It symbolizes that Ori. It symbolizes that God consciousness.
Pineal gland.
It represents that pineal gland, right? That holds the seat and the seed of all information of creation. Because we are our ancestors' prayers. Is that right?
That's right.
You ready for libation? Come on, brother.
Before Mama goes, I would just like to do a slight ritual.
Come on.
And that's just to clear any ancestral barricades.
Let's go.
If they have not been able to ascend, we're going to clear, and then we're going to send them light. Is that all right with everybody?
Come on. Let's go.
So I'd like for everyone to take a nice deep breath in. Hold it. And release. Again, inhale. Hold it. And release. Again, inhale. Hold. And release. We know that as they left Goree Island, they were placed in situations unimaginable, something that they never had to encounter. So they breathed. Inhale. Hold. And release. Inhale. Hold. And release. they were dropped off to South America, North America, and the Caribbean Basin. They endured the unthinkable. But we are here today, we are here now to open up the pathway of cleansing for them and ourselves. Cleansing of our minds, cleansing of our memories, cleansing of our hearts, and cleansing of our souls. And as we unite together and breathe again, we're breathing the cleansing breath to our ancestors to guide them in light and love and wisdom. Breathe in and hold. Breathe out. Breathe in. Hold. And breathe out. And as we've joined together, not just as survivors, but thrivers, we want to collectively bring our life together for our ancestors and tribute to our ascended ancestors. And to know that as we continuously love each other and seek for the truth, that we will be victorious. And breathe in and hold and breathe out. And breathe in, hold, breathe out. One more time. Breathe in, hold, breathe out. Thank you.
Brother Washington. Excuse me, Brother Rose.
You got it, right?
Let's go. Sit down.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the ancestors. Do a libation that was done by the Sons of Wedding by Chico 2007. At that time, I had it memorized. First of all, libation is a ritual. The purpose of a ritual is to create harmony between the human world and the world of the Creator, the ancestors and nature. Because our ancestor Maya Angelou said the greatest gifts are the blessings of the past. Let us thank those who came before us. And when you hear me say Ashe, which is a beautiful word meaning it's done or so be it, you can say Ashe. In the name of our ancestors who began the march of humankind in the Great Lakes region, the womb of Africa, we ask those ancestors to be with us, to strengthen us, and give us vision and guidance for the future. Ashe.
Ashe.
In the name of our ancestors who marched down the Nile River, that cultural highway, and laid the foundation for high culture and civilization for the world, we ask those ancestors to be with us, to strengthen us, give us a vision for the future. Ashe.
Ashe.
In the name of our ancestors who raised the pyramids and temples along the Nile with their sacred God concepts and their moral and ethical value systems, who left a permanent legacy that helped to energize and civilize the ancient Hebrews and energize the ancient Greeks, who helped further the work of the Prophet Muhammad. We ask those ancestors to be with us, to strengthen us, and to give us guidance for the future. Ashe.
Ashe.
In the name of those ancestors taken out of Africa, in whose hearts the spirit of Africa ran and now allowed them to survive, but to thrive under the most dehumanizing slave process in the history of the world. We ask those ancestors to be with us, to strengthen us, and give us guidance for the future. In the name of our African ancestors, our immediate forebears, we do know whose names ring in our hearts and our minds, and whose spirits seek to speak to us from the Caribbean, the Falklands, and the Dessalines, and the Cujos, and the Queen Nannies, the Zumbis from Palmares, from Brazil, and from the U.S., the Harriet Tubmans, the Sojourner Truths, the Nat Turners, the Marcus Garveys, the Malcolm X's, those forebears whose spirits have led us to this moment, and who will give us the strength for the future. We ask this in the name of our African ancestors to strengthen us, to be with us, and give us guidance for the future. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe,
Let's thank our dear brothers and sisters for a beautiful libation. And so we're going to prepare for our minister to come and give us a timely message, because we understand, and we thank everybody that came up and who sung a song and did a libation, because we do know in this difficult time, in this difficult day, it is very stressful. And there's a lot of people that are in their heads. And I know our minister has a word for us that will allow us to be not only present, but to deal with the time in this day. And also to give us some instructions in terms of what must be done to allow us to keep on keeping on and moving ahead. So the topic for today is faith in us in the time of Trump. This is a time for us to show great unity and resolve. This is a time for us to have a coming together of our resources. This is a time of us to have community. It truly is nation time.
Yes, it is. Race first.
Race first, right? This is the time for our unity. So with no further ado, I'm going to bring on the minister. You ready, brother? Our beloved minister, Dr. Dennis Ausar Winkler. Please give our brother a hand as we bring him on with the class.
Inspired by the great language.
Every week, come on.
Love it.
Give all praises to our ancestors. First and foremost, the universal Mother, Father, God, the creative essence of the universe. Give all praise, honor, and glory. Our ancestors who have fought, bled, lived, died for us. All praises to our ancestors, as if it was not for them, it would be no us. Reverence to our elders. May I have permission to speak?
Yes, you do.
I should. I'm just wondering what happens when they say no. I'm gonna be fighting. Oh, sit down. They gonna have a coup. You know what I mean? But greetings, family. How's everybody doing?
Right. Good. Shit.
All right. This is one of those presentations that Sister K, how you doing? Brother Montu, how you doing? Dr. Sika, how you doing?
Good.
All right, this side of the room, you know, I'm trying to get used to the setup and all that type of thing. So thank you for your patience and peace. I know I like this side of the room a little. I'm over here a lot. I'm trying to figure out how to get over here. Last week I was trying to read the actual slides from this position. It was a little difficult for me, but nonetheless, I did not necessarily even complete this presentation, but I want to go through it and let the spirit flow. Is that okay with you?
Yes, sir.
Let me start with the title. And this is before Trump started doing a lot of things. I'll just be honest with you. It's like when you put something out, then all types of other things happen. It's like, oh man, so I gotta really consider some of these things. So today's message is entitled, Imani, Faith in Us in the Time of Trump. Imani, faith in us, and I'll say during the time of Trump. Imani means faith. It calls for the belief in ourselves, our families, our leaders, our teachers, and the victory, our righteous victory and struggle. And as I said before, during the Kwanzaa period, that's a job in itself. To have faith in not just others, but faith in ourselves. To have faith in ourselves means we have to face ourselves. And that can be very, very fearful or frightening. To have faith in ourselves means we have to face ourselves.
True.
Meaning we have to look inside of ourselves. Would you say, Mom? Truthful. Mama said add a word. She said to face ourselves truthfully. And as I approach this presentation today, I put out a disclaimer here. I want to be mindful of where people are. I want to be mindful because the truth is we're in an interesting state or an interesting point of time in history. Brother Abu Jamal. What's up, brother? You over there low key looking very put together. I can't think of another word, but you look very intellectual.
Studious.
Thank you, studious, astute, all those type of things. Yes. So I want to be mindful, but the truth is, if we had truly tapped into wisdom, the wisdom of our elders and ancestors, we wouldn't be surprised in these times. Did somebody say yeah? No, lots of people are surprised and fearful. Well, if you ain't surprised, you might be scared. I said scared. Well, you ain't scared. Lots of people are. And I'm not saying that it's not a judgment, but it's a reality that many of us are fearful during this time. I put here, we would understand that this system is unsustainable and recognize the urgent but not fearfully need to seize the opportunity for transformation and liberation. Pretty reckless. Aimlessly at times, without purpose. We have been living in states of non-reality for a long time. We have learned to disassociate ourselves. It's a skill and we need it. But the reality is, as I state in this presentation, going a little further down, is that I would argue, I maintain that we are a little unbalanced. And that is the point for Maya, truth, justice, balance, harmony, order, reciprocity, but balance is key. And I said we have superpowers as African Black people. But I also argue that our strength is lopsided. Our strength is lopsided.
Why is that?
We're gonna get to it. Mama said, why is that? And if I forget to get to it, ask me again. We will understand that this system is unsustainable and recognize the urgent but not fearfully need to seize the opportunity for transformation and liberation. This is a time to take this time and seize the opportunity to further our struggle. Wisdom from our ancestors. The Hussein says, as we spoke about a few weeks ago, those who worry all day will have no happy moment. But those who pursue pleasure all day will not be able to sustain themselves. And I am saying this, I will argue and maintain, this is what we've been fighting with. We have been operating in extreme ways. Lots of us are very fearful. A lot of us worry all day long. We can't cut those minds off. And somehow we even justify the fear, the anxiety. In fact, when you stop being anxious, you become anxious about not being anxious. And that is a real thing, not a joke.
Wow.
And I work with people on a daily basis to get them to understand and see that it's okay having a settled body. Because what we've been through has us thinking we have to always be on. And some of us off. Some of us on, some of us off. And guess what we have the nerve to do? Link up with each other in these romantic relationships and business relationships, and one is on and one is off. And then you come to me and you try and figure it out. Because both parties are in extreme different directions. One is off, one is on, and everybody's trying to make each other like them. So again, the wisdom of Hussein says, those who worry all day will have no happy moment, but those who pursue pleasure all day will not be able to sustain themselves. And I am saying that we, again, have been operating in a system that is not sustainable. We are in a country that seeks pleasure all the time. We are the pleasure-seeking culture. We want to be stimulated constantly. We want our pleasure senses to consistently be stimulated. Many of us chase, not drugs, not heroin, not cocaine, not crack, but we chase pleasure. We chase stimulation. We chase excitement. We say things like, it's boring. I'm bored. I'm telling you, there's too much work to be bored. If you're bored, go in. There is too much work to be bored. And I'm telling you, when you find your purpose in the work, you'll never be bored again another day. When you find your purpose in the work, you will never have another boring moment. Because you will find that there's no time, there's not enough time in a day to accomplish what you will and what our people need. You will find that there's not enough time in a day to accomplish what you will and what our people need. If you are bored, it's time to go in. It's time to reflect. And I'm telling you, part of our developmental process have us chasing stimuli, chasing pleasure, and we justify it. A lot of us are hyper a lot of things. Hyper a lot of things. Hypersexual is one of them. We are thrill seekers, thrill chasers. There's a lot of thrills out here if you really want to get in the liberation struggle. You ain't got no bungee cord jumping. You can go and do some real work. I'm not saying don't do that. But what I'm saying is there's a lot of thrill in the struggle. If you want your heart to beat, I'll show you something to do. So again, family, balance. My yacht. Again, we talk about, I always want to go over to a methodology is important, a framework is important. Again, we call it India. A methodology is important. We have to have a framework. We have to have something to stand on. And I have it in the slide, but I'll go over it because I'm just going to flow with it, is that Ra, an ancient Egyptian or Kemetic divine attribute, says that Ma'at was with him when he created the world. There was never a time when Ma'at wasn't there. However, through the primordial waters, and through that chaos, Ma'at brought this foundation, balance, and harmony to the disorder. And I'm suggesting that we are in a time that feels very disordered. Maybe not to Mama Faluka. How you feel about it?
Out of chaos comes order.
Out of chaos comes order.
You got to have the chaos before the order comes.
No, very well.
Sounds like duality. So way of understanding the issue. And I never went over this, but I do want to go over this today. I've been skipping past it. So my teaching philosophy, it echoes what Nelson Mandela said. He says, education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. I argue that we need to educate ourselves. I don't want to try to pace, because I try to pace myself so we can reflect. Not just me up here screaming, hooting, and hollering. I think we do enough of that. There's a place and a space for that. But it's really important that we reflect. So again, education is the most powerful weapon that we can use to change the world. That's my teacher philosophy. This belief inspires me to my continuous journey of self-education to contribute to a better world. My approach to education is grounded in two philosophies. I take an andragogic approach, recognizing the experience and potential adult learners bring, focus on guiding students to develop their fullest potential, emphasizes a partnership where the teacher facilitates, not dictates. An African-centered approach centers culture as the foundation of education. Views education as a co-journey between teacher and student, student and teacher. And hence, student-teacher or teacher-student. Position students as active participants in their learning process. So again, as I spoke about last week, I will appreciate you to talk to me. So again, I'll just say, talk to me. Our ancestral knowledge. And I say they've been saying it for millennia. So it shouldn't be too much of a surprise, Brother Reg.
Right.
I don't know who said the book of Karamu Feast, it says everyone is silent, while the whole land is in great trouble. None are wise enough to know it. None are angry enough to speak out. None are angry enough to speak out. That word is important. as we journey along this message today, this presentation, this conversation today. And every day one awakes to suffering. Thus my suffering is long and heavy. The weak and the wretched lack the strength to save themselves from that which overwhelms them. It is painful to keep silent about what one hears, and yet it is of no use to answer the ignorant. It is painful to keep silent about what one hears, and yet it is of no use to answer the ignorant. And I'm arguing, I maintain that a gentle approach is too damn gentle, excuse my language, or pardon me, I won't say damn again. It's too gentle, and they have hard approaches that are too hard. And what I'm saying this from a spiritual perspective, from a psychological perspective. I am saying we have too much coddling on one end and too much force on another. There's a such thing called balance, and we find ourselves in this continuous cycle where you can't say anything to anybody. And I'm saying I'm allowing my ancestors to speak for me. Those who have built the greatest and longest lasting civilization to this very date. So it's painful to keep silent about what one hears, and yet it is no use to answer the ignorant. And I'm saying that everyone has an opinion but has not done the work.
Dr. King said there's nothing more dangerous in the world than sincere ignorance and conscientious stupidity.
Say it again one more time.
There's nothing in the world more dangerous than sincere ignorance and conscientious stupidity.
That's another thing Dr. King said, right? Thank you for that, Bob. Thanks for that wisdom. Because this soft approach is okay. But there's no one way to do it then. And not everybody needs the same message. Some of us need a more gentle approach. And some of us need a more direct approach. And I challenge you, and I would argue, maintain, that those who believe they need the soft approach really need the tough approach. And those who think they need the tough approach need the soft approach. You have to learn to deal with it. It is not for everybody to change for you. The word ain't changing for you. I'm sorry. Come on. It would be nice. But that is not reality. This is a message of reality. I argue that we are very strong on in an ethereal sense as Black African people. But sometimes we gotta come down to the ground. We love to go high. We love the fluffy stuff. So much so that people ask me, they say, give me the warm and fuzzies. Give me the warm and fuzzy. I need a warm and fuzzy. No, you need too much warm and fuzzy. That's the problem. You have to learn that you have a need to get too much attention all the time. You need to be coddled all the time. You will leave if you don't get that warm and fuzzy. But I guarantee you, when you work with people, when you work with us, you must have faith, because you're not going to get that warm and fuzzy all the time. In fact, people won't give it to you because they can see your need and desire for it. Some will give it to you because they see your need and desire for it. But the reality is there's something called opposite to emotion, or opposite of emotion. I mean, that what your emotions tell you need, you can think, perhaps I need the opposite. Or what I'm led and I want to do, the things I want to do, it might be unhealthy So perhaps I'll do the opposite. Instead of going out and binge drinking or going out and smacking somebody or going out and doing some very maladaptive things, I'll do the opposite. Or maybe I don't want to say anything because I don't like conflict. I don't like conflict. You probably need to learn to be a little bit more conflictual. And then you justify not having conflict. Oh, well, because, I don't need conflict. We just need peace. And that's why you don't have peace. Because Dr. King said last week as we was going over that tension, the absence of tension is not what? Say it again. It's not peace. He says justice brings about that peace. So when you feel like a doormat, you'll never have peace. To the world. Be real. Have some conflict. Oh, just have some conflict for fun. It's all right. Because you gotta have faith in our people because they're gonna give you some conflict. Believe me, we have to learn to deal with that conflict. Why am I saying this? I'm saying this because if we're gonna have faith in each other, if we're gonna get through these times, if we're gonna work together to build things, we have to understand it's going to require us to grow in areas that need to be strengthened. And no, it's not going to be how you want it. I promise you, that which you desire, you will get the opposite. All right. Further wisdom from our ancestors. Again, we spoke about this last week, but I want to re-emphasize it. The balance of the lands lies in my eye. Truth, justice, righteousness, and righteousness. It says, do not speak falsely. Again, do not speak falsely. And when I think about speak falsely, I'm also saying I think speaking in communication is more than what you say out your mouth. Speaking falsely is also what you don't say. When you're at war and you acting like there's no war going on, that's speaking falsely. This society that we've been a part of is unsustainable again. So again, we are on that side of the pendulum where things have to be shaken up. Things were too far to the left. I want to continue to say that. Too far. Where no one had to respect anything, anybody. And the very people who were ascribing themselves as victims were victimizing people. They will shame you. You couldn't talk about nothing, but they could talk about everything. It's telling you, don't you talk, because you're an oppressor. I'm talking about even black people that became oppressors. That's when you know it's a struggle. There's a victim mindset. There's a victim level of oppression or oppressive mindset that permeates our society, and nobody cares. Nobody really cares. And what I mean by that nobody cares is that when you begin to believe that now you can victimize or be so aggressive to other people because of your own experiences, nobody cares. Because at this point in time, all you are doing is inflicting the harm you believe happened to you or what happened to you. And that is not going to solve issues. I know so many people who say, I'm going to say what I got to say, how I got to say it, with snapping their fingers while they're doing it, because I could not talk when I was little. I was told to shut up. Now you're talking too much. You don't know when to shut up. You don't understand when you're crossing boundaries. You don't understand when you're hurting people. You're hurting people because you haven't healed from your own hurt.
Right.
And now you call yourself guiding and leading people, but you haven't healed enough not to hurt other folk in a very, very irresponsible way. So again, it says, do not speak falsely, for you are great. Do not act lightly, because you have weight. Be not untrue, for you are the balance. And do not swerve, for you are the standard. You are on the level with the balance. If it tilts, then you will lean to. Do not drift, rather stand firm. Do not rob, nor act against the robber. For one is not truly great if he is great with greed. If you turn your face from violence, who will punish wrongdoing? So what am I saying? We've been acting like what we've been living in for some time has not been very violent. We have been living in a violent world for a long time, and we're acting like just last week this world became violent. The difference is when you have drugs and you don't have drugs. The difference is when you have drugs and when you don't have drugs. The regime before this regime had drugs. They gave you some anesthesia. I mean, it feels better when you got anesthesia when you're getting surgery.
Come on.
But the problem is you're not getting surgery. They cutting your legs off.
Suffer peacefully.
And they don't need. Say again?
They suffer peacefully.
My shame. So what I'm saying is, if we listen to our ancestors, we listen to our elders, this would not be a surprise to us, nor will we be really as stressed and fearful as we are now. In fact, I would say we'd be ready. I would argue we would be ready because we realized what was going on wasn't working either. My hope is that it ignites us. Bless us. My hope is that it ignites us. Talk to me, y'all.
I want to know about the balance, out of balance. You said you would revisit that. You said we are out of balance.
We're out of balance. Let's see, because I know we don't have much time. So you said I said something about out of balance.
Right, you said to remind you. And I think what you had initially talked about was that what we think we are, we really aren't. We generally are the opposites of what we think we are.
Mm-hmm.
And you followed that up, you said something to the effect of, we're out of balance.
Okay, let's get to it. So I'm gonna try to get through it, and I think it'll come full circle. How many people seen this? How many people can see it now? So we out of balance. We out of order. I say values and standards distinguishing liberation from ratchet behavior. On January 2025, Sexy Red posted an AI-generated image of herself and Martin Luther King Jr. on Twitter. Bernice King, Martin Luther King's daughter, responded to a post calling it disrespectful and deplorable. She also said that her father was assassinated for working to end war and poverty. Sexy Red removed the post and apologized. I want to argue. I want to let you know I'm not coming for this, Sister Sexy Red.
Good.
I'm not. Because I don't see her as the problem. I see her as a symptom of the problem. She says, Sexy Red removed the post and apologized, saying she thought it was innocent and didn't mean to disrespect her family. Again, this is what I'm saying. I'm saying that values and standards have devolved. Because she doesn't know any better. I truly believe what she's saying. She says that Sexy Red removed the post, apologized, saying she thought it was innocent and didn't mean to disrespect her family. But this is where we are. Yeah. We're in a state where the values are so low. We're in a state when Sexy Red is even asked more social political questions than people who actually study it. And she said, I don't care, I just want to get my money. Literally. Bernice King accepted the apology and used the situation as a teachable moment. She said that she hopes others understand how it feels to see their deceased father used in ways that don't honor his legacy. Even if it wasn't her who created or posted it, I would say if you had a certain meiotic values, you wouldn't even do it if you wasn't her. I couldn't even see myself fashioning that and putting it out there for clicks or views.
Minister.
Yeah.
You know, it's reminded me of the fact that there is this thought about the whole rap culture and everything, that it was supposed to be made for entertainment, and people forgot that. They started thinking that was the life they were supposed to live.
Come on. That's right. And that's what I'm talking about, thrill seeking. Living for thrills. Living to fill your belly. I'm saying, as I was going to say earlier, is I actually work with clients who said, I said, you're not supposed to be chasing pleasure, thrills all day. They said, why not? Ain't that what we're supposed to do? Come on. I am saying this is where we are, where we believe that we should be seeking and chasing pleasure all day. And I should not feel pain. I shouldn't feel pain. So I find all types of ways to mentally perform mental gymnastics to stay away from pain. And when you do that type of performance, you can't connect with people. You can't connect with people. So I want to talk about what we have. The way to kind of frame this is first order change and second order change. What is first order change? First order change focuses on improving or modifying existing systems without challenging their foundational structures. Often addresses symptoms of deeper issues rather than their root causes. Provides temporary relief, localized improvements without lasting societal transformation. And that's what we've been living in. We've been living in a time where we're just dealing with localized change. Brother Curtis?
I should.
I'm saying this is where we've been. And we thought it was going to last that way. We thought it was going to stay this way or be the same. We forgot where we are. We wouldn't have this rude awakening if we didn't go to sleep. See, that's because we've been dealing with first order change. In other words, adjusting within the status quo. And when you're adjusting within the status quo, you're just moving some things around. You ain't shaking up nothing. And what I meant to say, what I didn't say last week is this. I want to say King was a criminal.
According to his standards.
The white man. I'm saying a righteous criminal. I am saying a righteous gangster. I'm saying purposely going to get locked up. I'm saying facing the law in their face. I'm saying knowing you're breaking the law. I want to just frame it this way because I think we think that we're going to do things within the system and bring about change. I want to call him a righteous gangster, a righteous OG. I want to say that he knew he was breaking the law. And we think somehow we can stay within it and cure some problems. And then those who are breaking the law to hurt us, that's a whole nother thing. But we think that breaking the law, we think that we can do something within their systems without shaking some issue up, without changing some things. I just want to recharacterize that people who begin to say the king is soft, he was breaking the law. When last time you broke the law? I'm not talking about speeding. Okay, when is the last time you even went up against the institution you work in? When's the last time you put your job on the line? When's the last time you took a risk within even your own family? Because we're non-conflictual. Many of us don't want conflict, and we think without conflict is going to bring about change. You have to be conflictual with the systems that are working against you. Some of the elders say you have to agitate, and agitate.
That's what Amos Wilson said. You can't revolt against a system whose values you share. Amos Wilson said you can't revolt against a system whose values you share.
Say that one more again.
You can't revolt against a system whose values you share. Amos Wilson.
I'll share you. I'll share you Dr. Amos Wilson. You cannot revolt against a system with whose values you share. Think about that. And we find ways to justify our complicitness in the system. I hear it all the time. I hear people say, well, we all have our walks and we all have our duties and we all have our way of doing it. No, well, I mean, I get it. You can do it in college or university. You can do it across. You can do it on a street corner. But what are you shaking up in that college? What are you shaking up, even in your own relationship? I mean, a piece of bring about some peace, but I mean, what are you doing in the organizations other than trying to? We do a lot of conflictual stuff inside of Black organizations. We dare not go against the system.
Right.
We real OGs when we up in Black organizations, and we do a lot of work for white organizations. The very organizations we say we're fighting against. You what again, Bob? Let me hear that again.
You cannot revolt in a system whose values you share.
That's word.
Yes, it is.
You cannot revolt it. Vote in a system whose values you share.
Yes.
Yeah, impossible.
Impossible. We justify our Americanity, our assimilationist values. And we all have some, but what I'm saying is, even saying that, one thing I hear people say a lot to justify their behavior, well, we all are complicit. Oh, no, you're a little differently complicit. You know what I'm saying? You a little differently complicit. We don't expect to lie, but you ain't doing nothing. What are you doing in the institutions you serve in to shake them up? other than trying to keep your job? What do you say, Bob Boo?
Confirmation.
Confirmation? Okay. All right. Tell me what that means.
What we discussing here was discussed 40 or 50 years ago, I know. Because when I was a youngster, I was hearing the same thing. Now I'm at that age, and I'm still hearing the same thing. Confirmation.
My shit. Again, our ancestors in the book of prayers and sacred praises, Amen-Ra, the hidden but revealed aspect of the divine. Let me say it again. Amen meaning the hidden, Ra meaning the revealed aspect of the divine. Amen-Ra is a helmsman who knows the water well. He is the rudder for the weak. He gives bread to those who have none and sustains those who serve him in his temple. I take not the powerful as a protector. Again, I take not the powerful as the protector. I depend not on those with wealth. And I place not my life under the strong arm of another. For my wealth and strength are in the house of the Lord. My Lord is my protector. I know his might. Indeed, he is the helper, strong of arm. And none is truly strong but he. Amen-Ra is he who knows compassion, who hearkens to those who call him. Amen-Ra, Lord of the Lord, the bull of great strength, who delights in mightiness. And why did I bring this up? Because Amen-Ra, Amen is that aspect of creation that you just can't touch. You can't hold on to it. And I'm arguing that we do a lot in that realm. But there's another part, that's Ra. And Ra is the physical manifestation of Amen, that aspect of the divine. The physical manifestation. And when I'm arguing that many of us are often out there in Amen land, but we don't touch on Ra. We don't touch on, we deeply spiritual in a very, let's say, ethereal sense, but not spiritually material. I'm gonna say spiritually materially spiritual. And we understand from an African standpoint, one is not important without the other. A lot of us get caught in the East, and where it's always about meditating ourselves out of a place. But we don't want to put our feet on the ground like Africans. Because Africans understand that we understand the things that we don't know, we can't touch, we can't grasp, but also we understand the things we can are very important. So that's like saying the arts are more important than the sciences. I'm arguing that that fight is dead, it should be dead. Science is African. We think that science is not African, education is not African. So who created it? So we get so caught in the spiritual because I say it's a numbing, and I'm calling it all spiritual, but what we typically call spiritual, because it serves merely as a way to numb ourselves. We have to put our feet on the ground to bring out real material change. I am sorry. You cannot, I promise you, you don't have to agree, but you cannot meditate or pray without doing work to bring about change. I know we got special powers, I'm not challenging them, but the reality is, you gotta do some damn work. No, you gotta do work. I mean, look, the prayer circles and all that is great. That's good for good for your spirit, to get you to move your feet.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace if you're willing to fight for it.
Peace if you're willing to fight for it. Some of us, many of us, lots of us, I am saying we are heavily in that realm. And the reason why I argue that we do that is because we were materially deficient. When you're materially deficient, you have to now somehow lift up and make what you do have more important than the other. You have to justify in your mind that the ethereal is more important than the material. Let me say it again. That the ethereal is more important than the material. And that's not African. Africans understand the importance of the ethereal and the material. In fact, the ethereal manifests in the material. In order to bring about sustainable change, we have to deal with material change. What we're fighting about right now is material. But we've been wasting a lot of time, or too much time, in the ethereal, so we don't have sustainable material change. Are y'all following me?
Oh, yeah.
We are strong, and we boast about it, and we should. The research supports it as well, that we are strong when it comes to religiosity, which we call spirituality, but I want to argue it's not. And we want to fight about religiosity, and we call it spirituality, but it's not. Because there's not one way to do a thing. I don't care who you are. We will be in 5 different churches saying this person's doing something wrong. We will be in the African spiritual community saying they're doing something wrong. I'm telling you all wrong, but you all are right. Religion, as many of our elders say, is the edification of one's culture. Religion is the edification of one's culture. I'm telling you, we don't understand the difference between religion and spirituality. Although we say we do. We often say things like spirituality is your own connection with God, and sometimes we use that as a proxy or an excuse to not work with others. I would say add spirituality piece, that spirituality is the connection you have with the universe, the divine, your brothers and sisters, your community. All things, animate and inanimate. Add some things to it, because we like to stay out there in the ethereal realm. We have to put some boots on the ground. I know we are fearful. As I said last week, just say it. It's okay. No one's gonna hold it against you. You'll get another job. But don't stop people. Don't stop me. I know someone here saying, well, he's trying to get us to do what? It ain't for you. If it ain't for you, it ain't for you. It's for that heart, that soul, that spirit who is igniting. I ain't telling you to leave your children, but I'm telling somebody they got to do something, because King and the children was fighting the fight. We think we made it so far that our children can't fight. When we knew we had to fight, we put our children on the front lines. When you're ready at war, all hands on deck. That's scary, but that's a reality. We are in this bubble of America that is fake and phony. When the people across seas that are fighting their children are picking up machine guns that are this big. When you look at some of the media, we turn our eyes away and you see children get their brains blown out. And we're in this culture, in this system that we think it can sustain itself, and it can't sustain itself. We're acting like it can sustain itself. When we're sitting here acting like all hands don't need to be on deck.
That's why they're trying to get rid of TikTok. That's why they're trying to get rid of TikTok, because they're showing all the trauma that's going on in Palestine.
Yeah, while we're sitting over here acting like nothing's happening. I can't focus on what's going on over there. That is cutting off from reality. Because this world, this society we live in is a false reality. I'm telling you, it is false. Even it's so false that you think we're doing so good, but you ain't drive down Greenmount Avenue in a while.
Just to get us back. You don't know how much money that they spend.
I was like, who is that? God! Lord! The voice was there too.
No, I'm saying you don't know how much money is spent to keep that ideology up. Like that's the industry. That's America in a nutshell. Like the creation of the information to seem like you're sensational. You understand? Like you're exceptional, and they spend a lot of money to do that. So that's why you won't see that stuff over.
Yes, sir.
Over. That's why what you brought up, brother, about TikTok.
Right.
TikTok is a bad guy when it's showing stuff that can expose all the atrocities going over the world. But you know, the other day it came up. Oh, magically TikTok is back because of President Trump. And the underlying thing was that they were trying to benefit from it, own 50% of TikTok to then, guess what? Give out the information that they want to give out. All that other information will be gone. It'll be only the information in them. So we're just living in that type of culture. That's what's really going on.
I say thank you, brother God.
You're welcome.
So I think mental health is based on my eye. You know, in this whole strength-based, I get it. Strength-based approach, I believe, is important. But again, as I share with people, strength-based don't mean I don't tell you about yourself. I'm sorry. I mean, look, somebody got to tell you about yourself. If somebody said, who tell you about yourself? I got people tell me about myself. That ain't your job. When you try to tell somebody about themselves, they want to ask you, who told you about yourself? Not you, somebody else. That is defensive. Maybe you can't tell me, but don't ask me who told me about myself when I'm now trying to tell you about yourself.
Especially if you pay.
Say it again, Mama?
Especially if you paying me.
Especially if you're paying me. Oh, we got to flesh that out.
No, if they paying you as a counselor.
Oh, no, I'm talking about, look, counseling go past those walls. It's in this room here, you know, it's out in the world, too, you know what I mean? But again, absolutely. Oh, if you're paying me, don't tell me about myself? Oh, no, they come back because I tell them about themselves. They say, yeah, you know, it was nice when I sat down with Barbara and she just was like, yeah. Then they like, oh, no, I need somebody to tell me about myself. I'm past the fluffies. I'm past the fluffy because ain't nothing changed. I felt good. They coddled me. They made me feel good. I don't like what you saying, good bro, but it challenges me to change. You know what I mean? We have to be able to confront. If we can't confront, no change will come about. Again, as I said last week, look, somebody just gotta be mad at you. I'm sorry. I'm saying be respectful. But look, when somebody asks you, why are you telling about who tells you about yourself? Or let me give you all the defense mechanisms, some of them that I hear. They was like, well, therapists need therapists. Oh, well, gee golly. Well, look, I think you told me something. And what I mean is, what they're saying is a subtle way of trying to take back a level of positioning and power. Because I don't want you to, I feel vulnerable right now.
Right.
Or I'm a man too. Well, I mean, I thought you were. I put my pants on one leg at a time. Okay, thank you for telling me that. What are you really trying to say here? Who you go to? None of your business. Who you go to? How many people heard this or said this before? You ain't gotta say which one by showing hands. Brother Kerry thinks I'm being brave. Look, everybody, the doctor need a doctor too. Like, okay, thank you. I do have one. The doctor, okay, why did you feel the need to bring it up right now? Why did you feel the need? Okay, can you help me out with that? Are you sensing something? You understand? Like, what are you sensing? You know what I mean? So again, Ron Maya, he says, I gave people their tongue so that they may speak truth, and their heart so that they may know righteousness. So speaking truth to power is very important, family. I'm going to get to you, Mama. Way of intervening. I'm going to get past, I'm just going to say, quite similar to what I spoke about earlier, first order and second order change. I don't even know if I got into second order change, but second order change is more about really obstructing systems in a way to create new systems. Dismantling them and rebuilding. And when I think that what is important when we look at Ryan's creation story is that it was created in chaos. And I'm saying we're at a point in time where we feel chaos. We feel like it's going to be a chaotic time. We're nervous, and we should be feeling something. I'm not saying we shouldn't, but at the end of the day, those who do best are those who fight. Those who do best, those who survive, those who are less traumatized or less likely to be traumatized are those who fight. And when you fight with purpose, it gives you meaning. It gives you strength. And it helps you on mental levels, spiritual levels, physical levels. And I think when we're having these conversations, and we should look at it as Huey P. Newton broke it down as, or many other people broke it down as, but Huey P. Newton made it popular. He said this: we have to understand there's a difference between survival programs and liberation programs. And oftentimes when we're arguing, we fight, and we're believing that survival programs will get us to liberation in of themselves. They won't. And some ideas of what they would say were survival programs will be food, healthcare, education, the things we keep fighting for. You know what I mean? That is a survival program. That is not going to liberate us. That's cool. We need these things. But when you think that is the thing, you think you're liberating us with just staying there, that is playing safe. I'm going to fight for education. Well, you should. But the reality is we got to go deeper. We have to be more risky. The Black Panther Party free breakfast for children program, free medical clinics and literacy programs. Strengths, it builds trust and meets urgent needs. Encourages self-reliance within communities. This is what a survival program does. We need them. We do a lot of survival programs here at TNAT, right? We need those to get to liberation, but we have to, we should be careful not to confuse them for liberational programs. Liberation programs, long-term efforts aimed at systemic and structural change. Systemic focus tackles root causes like capitalism, racism, imperialism. We don't even want to talk about these things. Or matter of fact, that's all we want. We get stuck on the talk. But to dismantle them, as Mama said, radical education encourages critical consciousness and revolutionary thought. Not the thought that, I'm tired of hearing that black stuff. I'm tired of hearing that black stuff. I'm tired of hearing, can we just live? Can't we just be okay? Can't we just be all right? Y'all know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. I'm enjoying this. I'm a life coach, and I learned too, we need to reprogram our subconscious mind because there's a lot of fear, doubt, insecurity, religious, politics. We gotta break all those limited core self-conscious beliefs. So when we become to be aware of who we truly are, because we forgot who we are as a people, we forgot our divinity, we forgot who we truly are, and then when you get into the spiritual community, to me, it's still divided and separated. So like we're saying, a lot of fluff, instead of really getting to the core of how we can unite as a people, but we still separated even in spiritual and the conscious community. And we need to drop all our ego and not be so egotistic saying, I have this organization. If we break down, let go all these titles to represent us, we can come together as a whole, as a people.
Ashe, thank you. We do have to break it down, but that requires us to face ourselves. You know what I mean? So then we can face others. And we have to be able to challenge even our beliefs, but we don't want to do that. Dr. Henry Gregory says that he thinks it's important that we challenge our belief system every now and again. He says if we don't challenge our belief systems have us, we don't have them.
Whoa.
So I don't beat up on belief systems, but I'm telling you, there's some stuff in there.
Yeah.
I'm talking about all of them. Even after when you joined lessons yesterday. I'm just saying, we're in a very interesting place. But when you trying to make me believe your stuff over that story, I'll be honest with you. I'm just gonna keep it a buck. Some of the stuff people tell me, I just let it go. But you Your stuff ain't no less mythical and mysterious and hard to believe than that lady in the church. In fact, I just think there's some kinky crop for it. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but it's just, yours ain't no better. I know we have feelings, I know we got beliefs, and we need them. But the reality is, there's a lot of things in our minds, and they work out for us as culture. That don't mean it's true, but it can be true for that group, and it can work for them. But I'm saying it ain't no more real than other persons who you think ain't. I say ain't. Yours is no more real than theirs. I'm sorry. God came to me. The ancestors came. I mean, it's the same damn thing. I'm sorry, it is. I mean, there's no difference. I mean, keep telling me about. I don't want you not to come to me and tell me what the ancestors said to you about me. I'm good. Just let me tell you when I get the inkling they drop in my spirit, say what they said to me about you, or even the thing you just said to me.
Don't start me talking. I'll tell everything I know.
Oh boy, don't start you talking to you and tell everything you know like last week. We don't need you doing that right now, Bible. Look, I said be brave, but be tactful. So look, family, critical thinking is important. I am suggesting that critical thinking is important, and too long we have been discounting critical thinking. We don't critically think. I am sorry. I'm going to tell you honestly, I'm a little tired. I think the first verse talked about it. Like ignorance is something you grow tired of, and it's no use because people ain't really listening. They can't listen. We have to learn to critically think. Let me slow down. We have to learn, and we're going to close out on this. We have to learn to critically think. We are sorry at it. We suck. I'm sorry. We are horrible at critically analyzing situations. Put that music back. I was feeling good. It was really good. It was giving me some very African drums. You know what I mean? We don't do well with it, family. We have to get out of our fear and learn to critically think. We cannot face ourselves unless we critically think. But critically think is becoming a knock in our community. I'm sorry, white people didn't create critical thinking. You wasn't gonna build no pyramids. You wasn't gonna build the Mali, Shanghai, and Ghana empires without critically thinking. You weren't gonna create the first medicine without critically thinking. You are not gonna create structures and infrastructure without critically thinking using accurate numbers, not the stuff that you used to fund. They're trying to tell me about me that I don't believe in, but that's another thing. Have fun with it. But what I'm saying is learn to critically think too. It's okay to have fun and also deal with your feet on the ground. Right. It's okay to deal with things and try to understand things you don't understand. I understand that's what you do. I'm sorry. This is what we do. And we call it spirituality, but that's religion. We're trying to make sense out of things that will never make sense out of. And I think to be more spiritual is to understand that you'll never know that because it's beyond your comprehension, and that should be spiritual enough. But we gotta know. We gotta act like we know. I'm sorry. You will never know. You will never know. But growing comfortable and knowing that you will never know, to me, is a spiritual act. Not knowing is spiritual. Because you have to be comfortable with that. But you can go and you can deal with stories and all those type of things. That's fine too. I'm just saying. Just don't beat up on somebody else's story when you're playing with yours. You call them playing with theirs, you're playing with yours too. But at least challenge the pieces that don't serve us as African people. You ever seen, I'm not gonna go there. Stop. Come on. Well, I can go there in a different way. You ever seen people from the Nation of Islam call you and say you got a spook God? Huh? They say we don't believe in no spook God. God is man and this and that. Curtis, what they say? Mystery God. They don't believe in no mystery God. God. But then they talk about that somebody's on the wheel, and they, and Elijah Muhammad's up there, and the wheel is 50,000 feet long by 4,000.
Y'all cool.
There's other aspects of the nation that says things like the different sections and factions don't even agree with each other, because to some factions, Elijah Muhammad has reincarnated. There's different factions of all types of things. What I'm saying is, I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with having these beliefs, but you acting like your belief is somewhat more believable than that person's belief. I'm telling you, all these beliefs that y'all have are not believable. But you can have solace in them. You can use them to heal you. It don't have to be real to heal you. It's okay. But use them, don't abuse them, and weaponize them against other people.
Right. Don't be like the white person.
Not shame. So, our ancestors spoke about critical thinking. If you look into Stolen Legacy, it talks about, no, you know what? Wrong slide. This slide here, I just want to go and close on this slide. Having discipline of mind and control of thought. We have to have discipline of mind and control of thought. Righteousness of conduct and control of action. Righteous conduct. In other words, control of action. Perseverance of purpose. Steadfastness of purpose. Mastery of self. Identifying with higher ideals. Live purpose-driven. Evidence of a mission in life. And spiritual wisdom. Evidence of a call to higher service. But I want to go back to the first one. We have to have discipline of mind. And one of the things it says in Stolen Legacy is to differentiate between what is real and unreal. How many people are familiar with that? To differentiate what is real and what is unreal. And I am arguing, I maintain that we struggle with differentiating what is real and what is unreal. And we waste a lot of time in a reality that is not real. Hence, it prevents us from accomplishing the goals that we want to accomplish. Because we're dealing with too much stuff that is not real. And the way we've been living in society, in the society that's created here, that we think is somehow a just society. Although we say it's not a just society, but we think the society is sustainable. That is unreal. We think that the society, in the way that it's set up, is going to serve our children. I am telling you, the work that we are not doing will impact our children even greater. As you see, as we evolve and we see what's going on out here, it's no wonder that people don't even want to have children. Because there is a devolution. Dr. Amos Wilson said, there's no guarantee that things will continue on this path of things are getting better, relationships are getting better. But many of us didn't believe that. Even Dr. Amos Wilson as an ancestor said, there's no guarantee that things are just going to get better. And some of us said, what? And I'm saying that this Trump presidency, if it did not wake you up enough to know that his words are prophetic, and I'm going to say intellectual, I don't know what else will wake you up. I don't suggest we be fearful. I suggest we be fightful. But again, we have to have the ability to distinguish the real from the unreal. I'm saying we have to learn again to critically think. We have to deal with the spiritual realms, the ethereal spiritual realms, and the material spiritual realms. It says again, the balance of the lands lies in my eye. Truth, justice, and righteousness. Understand that truth is always the first word that most of us, when we talk about my eye. I am arguing we have not been dealing with truth. Truth has us dealing with the real and the unreal and understanding the difference. Do not speak falsely, it says, for you are great. Do not act lightly, for you have weight. Be not untrue, for you are the balance, and do not swerve, for you are the standard. Live my eye. In conclusion, Ra says, I am he, who when he opens his eyes, it becomes light. And when he closes his eyes, it becomes dark. We are in the dark period, some of us believe. Ron says, I am he, when he opens his eyes, it becomes light. And when he closes his eyes, it becomes dark. He, at whose command the waters of the Nile rise. I put here this verse from the creation story is a powerful reminder that light and dark are a part of a cyclical process. Ra, the creator, has the power to bring light after darkness, symbolizing the inevitable return of hope, growth, and renewal after challenging times. Hence, this period will too pass. Ashe.
Come on, dear family, you can do better than that. Give it up for our minister, brothers. It's an honor to kind of stand up here because somebody said earlier, race first. And I think that we're in a declaration of war. The minister said we're going to have to be a little bit more disciplined. But we understand that when you are building community, you have to be brave. And I think we got our marching orders today to stand on those principles of Maya, to don't be fearful, because just like our ancestors fought and toiled, I think this is our time. So we talk about Trump, and we understand that this too shall pass, but we're really talking about the strength in our numbers and the strength in our unity. We are greater together. So I just want to ask that we're preparing for Karamu, is that right? Karamu? Okay. So we're just going to close out. Is there any announcements before we close out and participate in our Karamu, our collective communal feast? Is there any announcements that people want to put out? The ministers talk about first order and second order change. He's still here. Is there any questions for our dear ministers? Any clarifications?
Brother Curtis.
You got one?
I like
Thank you. First thing I noticed this evening or this afternoon was that with the drum beat, all I kept hearing was, it ain't no thing. It ain't no thing. In a good sense, it ain't no thing. But this is what we do, this ain't no thing. But if y'all will spare me just 2 minutes, I want to read something that I posted on social media Wednesday. And then something I posted yesterday pertaining to Trump, since he's in this conversation. I'll start with Trump first because it's right here. The article was on Facebook pertaining to Trump inviting heads of state to his swearing-in services, which that's not a standard or a norm in this country. So no African countries participated. But the message is Trump is back. So I wrote, Trump is back. So what? He, as all U.S. presidents, are both tools and puppets of him and them who control the purse string. In the chicken coop, the chicken knows not and cares not whether it's the fox or the wolf, or if it doesn't look out, it's gonna get got. Okay, that was okay, and I'm gonna do the one from the one I posted Wednesday. Just bear with me. Which for me is like kind of confirmation of what Brother Ausar was mentioning, talking about the number of ways. And here it is. There it was. I didn't realize Wednesday was so far back on my media.
You do a lot of posting, huh?
Yes, sir. I do apologize. Here it is. I said that before. Okay, here it is. I posted this on Wednesday, Truthful Wednesday morning. It's called Tomorrow Syndrome. Essays from a speech entitled Malcolm X Did All He Could, but It Just Wasn't Enough, by Sheikh Winkler, and Grand Master of the Ancient Arabic Islamic Larger Wisdom Academy, held at Baltimore State University, Bar in 1987. It reads, tomorrow, Assalamu alaikum means peace be unto you, but it is not my peace that I send to you, but Allah's peace. Malcolm did all he could, but it just wasn't enough. Again, I say, Malcolm did all he could, but it just wasn't enough. We suffer from a terrible disease, and this disease takes many forms, but the most common form that this disease takes is called tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. I agree with what you are saying, brother, sister. Something needs to be done. I will do it tomorrow. Everything you are saying is true. We need to fight. We need to struggle. But I will do it tomorrow. Because this evening I have to go home and cook dinner and mind the kids, and I've got to get ready for work, and I'll do it tomorrow. Next week I'll do it. I'll do it when I get off from work. I'll do it after my vacation. I'll do it when I go to Mecca. I'll do it tomorrow. What's wrong with us? We can't just keep putting off what needs to be done and waiting for someone else to do it. Where's the action? The action can't come if you are going to wait until next week. The action can't come, brother, sister, if you're going to wait until tomorrow. The main symptom of this disease we mentioned a little earlier called tomorrow is sleep. Sleep is the main reason nothing gets done in America among our people. Not only among our people, but among everybody else. Sleep. Nothing comes to a sleeper but a dream. If a man is asleep, he is no good to the movement. You are no good to the movement being awake 1 hour out of the week. You are not awake. When Brother Malcolm died, there was a gap. There was a big gap among black folk because there was no one to keep us. Malcolm did a lot. Malcolm made a lot of people mad. He made a lot of people happy. And Malcolm did all he could, but it wasn't enough. We have to wake up and see what's going on. We shouldn't be fooled any longer. Nobody sees himself or herself as part of the struggle. It's a crazy sort of perception. We might see ourselves as Muslim, We might see ourselves as Black people. We might see ourselves as Americans. But nobody sees their self as part of the struggle. I mean, Malcolm did all that he could, but it wasn't enough. And 100 or 1,000 Malcolm X's won't be enough unless we wake up and carry the torch. After all, he was only one man. There's 5 billion people in the world. He was only one man. If we like him, if we like what he stood for, let's carry the torch. Thank you for your time and patience. This was in 1987.
Give it up, give it up, give it up, give it up, give it up for that wisdom. And if we close out, if we could all stand. We're gonna close out with our Harambes. Hold that black fist in the hand, in the air. And we're gonna break it down with 7 Harambes. It means let's pull together. All right, on 3. 1, 2, 3. Harambe! 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 Until next Sunday, family, greet each other. Enjoy the Karamu.
Okay.